Welcome back, everybody. This is Quoth, and we're about to play a little more of Quoth Plays Dark Souls 2. Now, hopefully we got all the technical difficulties out of the way. The last time we shouldn't have had an issue, but the time before, of course, we were using the wrong microphone. It was coming out of my other speaker, and luckily it was still audible enough so that you can still hear it, but this is the second time we've had an issue with it. The first time, of course, I was unable to use the footage because the voice was, completely so far away that I couldn't do anything with it. In which case, you didn't get to see it. That was the episode where I essentially walked around Majula for a while, visited a couple of merchants, and then proceeded to beat the Forest of the Fallen Giants boss. Luckily, I had already filmed myself losing to it, so it's really not that big a deal. And, of course, in the last one, we fought two Tower of Heidi bosses, which, unfortunately, was a big deal, but despite the poor vocal quality, I think it was still possible to, tell what I was saying and without too many issues. So we're going to just go from here, and I have double-checked and triple-checked that my microphone is working correctly, so we shouldn't encounter that problem again. Now, the last time we left off, we got through No Man's Wharf. It's kind of a long episode. I'm going to try to keep this one a little more under wraps. I think we got into the 30-minute mark on the last one just because I lost track of time. I would have tried to kind of take out some of the Majula aspect of it if I had realized that before I had finished recording it. But, time flies when you are having fun. Dark Souls is frustrating, but also extremely fun, so it's very common that you would find it that way. So in either case, the Lost Bastille is one of my favorite places in Dark Souls 2. And a lot of people disagree with me on this. A lot of people think it's very bland. And to a degree, they're correct. I mean, other than the extremely bland backdrop, which is basically just a horrible-looking horizon if you just look at it right now, it's basically the most typical castle-style area that a lot of these types of games have, and that we've seen before. But the reason I like it so much is that it reminds me a lot of the Undead Burg, and I miss that with a nostalgia kind of way. So part of me really does wish that we had had a chance to have an area like that in this game. Now, this is the closest thing we have to it. It's not like it. I would not describe it as being like the Undead Burg at all. Ow. Okay. So, the other thing I want you to know is that I'm a little rusty. As much as I like this area, it's possible that we will have several deaths in it, simply because I do not remember how to beat some of these enemies. I'm just going to S this up for a moment. I don't think you can get around the wall and to where I am all that quickly. I think just a 1-for-1 is the best we're going to do here on this guy. We're going to S this up again. I'm not too worried about it, and we are going to get the Heidi Spear. Each one of the knights like that, there's several of them. There's one in the forest, which we missed, and there's a couple others across the game. Each one of them drops a different Heidi item, or I say Heidi, I don't know if that's correct. I think I had watched one video where they told me it was actually, or they said it was actually like Haid or something like that, like Haid Knight instead of Heidi. I just say Heidi. It sounds a lot more retarded and more like a Swiss girl. But, I like hot chocolate, so maybe that's why I kind of assume it's Heidi instead. It could be kind of like a subconscious thing. So, in either case, I like to take care of the dogs before I worry about this giant executioner fellow. He's not that difficult in his lonesome here. If he just tries to get you, just try to get away. That move right there is a grab. And I kind of went a little risky there, but I figured I could kill him before he got to me. And he knocks down his little tower. Now, it's very easy to miss the fact that there is an open space here, but I would not recommend it. If you can head all the way down the aisleway, you are going to find a metal chest. Fear not, it's not a mimic. It's far better than a mimic. It's so fast you couldn't see it. No, it is actually a Estus Flask shard. Right now we're at, I believe, 5 Estus Flask. That's going to get us to 6. And you go up pretty quickly if you know where to find them. When you first start the game, you may not know where some of these things are, and finding one seems like the greatest thing in the world. After a while, you're going to be flush with them. And pretty soon you're going to have all your Estus Flask, or pretty close to all your Estus Flask charges without trying too hard. But some of them, like the one in No Man's Wharf that I got last time, are a little more difficult to find because they're kind of like out of their way on their own. But some of them, like this one, there's really no excuse to not get them, other than the fact that you may not remember that it's there. Alright, that was horrible. He just completely missed me, somehow. I was trying to get him to blow up this wall, which, of course, looks, if you notice, a lot like an exploding wall. And there is a blacksmith back there. Now, it's not the biggest issue, but there is a bonfire and a blacksmith right behind that wall. I like to be able to get it. Doesn't look like we're going to on this specific run unless we die, which hopefully we won't. But now you know where it is. You know what? I'm going to see if I can try it one more time, maybe. Gold pine resin. Just because I have so few Estus Flask shards right now to begin with, I feel like it probably would not be a bad idea to, you know, once I get down the edge here, just simply row back. That didn't work nearly as well as I'd hoped. Okay, come on, buddy. Nice. Alright, so as you can see, some of the easier enemies in the game if you have room and you're one-on-one. But they have a pretty broad range of attack, so just keep that in mind if you do foolishly decide to fight them with other enemies around. It's a pretty good way to die. It just says hint. I mean, it's pretty obvious what you're supposed to do there. I just was, you know, unfortunately unable to get him to kick it the right way. But that's okay. It's a pretty easy area to kind of go through again. And I'm going to see if I can get this bonfire. It doesn't really matter all that much. There's going to be another one not too far away. But I just want to show you guys and see if I can show you how to get it. Just for, I don't know, informative purposes. And also because I have 2 Estus Flasks left. And that's mostly because of the Hidey Knight, let's be honest. I mean, I probably killed like 3 of the 5 just on him. So I'm pretty sure that resting here would not be in our, you know, in the worst, would not be one of the worst things we could do. So I'm not too worried about losing the 7,800 souls that I have in front of me at the moment. It is probably about 2 levels at my current range here. But not only is this area not too difficult, which once again I say with some hesitancy because that's like the easiest way to. Okay. Oh, that was stupid. So about those Estus Flasks that I was trying to save. Alright, so this is a little riskier. Now you're going to see what I'm saying. I got a little lucky there. I kind of went for broke and it worked out. Alright, so a couple more swings and it's going to be it for Igor here. He is an ugly son of a bitch, I gotta say that, but he's also a fairly rare enemy. I mean, you really only see him in this area here, so I guess enjoy him while it lasts. There's another enemy we're going to see not too long from now, and at very least... Oh my god, I didn't even see him coming. And that dog's sticking halfway out of the wall, which is a little awkward and doesn't make a lot of sense. Alright, so playing like crap is kind of a common theme for me in Dark Souls in certain occasions. This guy, did he even kick the barrel? I don't even know. Did he just kick it at himself? Alright, so successful roll is successful. Alright, but a little scary. Let's see if he kicked it. If he kicked it down there, it might still be there. We might be able to blow it up. If he didn't, maybe it just didn't spawn. That's weird. Usually there's a barrel that spawns up there. Well, anyway, I'm not going to try it again unless I die, of course, in which case I'll have no choice. It's really not worth the trouble. It's just another bonfire. Later on, it's going to be, you know, kind of a necessity, because if you want to get to that blacksmith, you're going to have to unlock it. I say necessity kind of loosely. I haven't really had the need to use that blacksmith, but I've heard that he can craft certain items that maybe the original one can't do. I think he does the imbue magics, things like that, where you know, you want to imbue something with the power of steel or something random like that. But maybe this doesn't always respawn correctly, because it looks like, from what I can see here, the barrel up here that this guy blew up also didn't respawn when I rested, which is bizarre. I think it probably should, but it doesn't look like it did. So that's it for those enemies. In a second, we're going to head a different direction, but I just want to walk in here and kind of show you. This is going to be a locked door. Does not open from the side. Oh dear. And then we're going to meet Lucatiel.
Might be you. The longer a wretched place indeed, but not without traces. What could have caused?
So Lucatiel, you can talk to her a bunch of times.
Of course.
She gives you random stuff. I don't remember what that actually was. I went too fast. I didn't realize she was going to give me anything. I completely forgot, but I remember the last time I went through, now that I think about it. It was not that useful an item.
Sorry.
I just wanted to make sure that I've exhausted all of the dialogue here. If you do, I believe you can use her as a summon if you want to. I don't really plan on it. Sir Mike 87, snakes on an 8. So I don't really think it's necessary. I might summon Lucatiel. I'm not really interested in summoning human fellows, but what I do want to do is attract some of these dickhead soldiers out here. And I say dickhead very specifically because that's what they are. Not only do their heads look like penises, but they're very annoying. Actually, they look more like French revolutionaries, but whatever. Think about it as you want. It looks like we only brought 2 with us this time around, which is as good as we can expect. There is a lot of them down here. Don't even think differently. Here comes a whole bunch. I found that sometimes trying to fight them up here on the bridge can be the best point to do it. Or it doesn't end up as the best point to do it. See, last time I came through here, I did not have the long sword. I had the bastard sword, which was a lot more powerful. I don't remember where I got that, but it may be worthwhile picking up again. Not in this episode, of course, but still something to consider. Obviously, the bastard sword is going to be a lot more useful to anybody who's going through that area, seeing as it has a longer reach and is more likely to stagger. But we're going to try to play this a little smarter this time around. So what we're going to do is, instead of... Alright, I don't think there's any reason to jump down on him here. I was thinking about it. But we're going to actually use the ladder, which I failed to do last time, to spectacular effect. And let's just run out this way and see if we can't get the dog to aggro. Nope, he's not going to aggro. He's just going to run away, leaving me with just the executioner until the point that the executioner attacks me. What is he frightened of right now? Okay. Okay. Here he comes. Oh, he's waiting for the other dog. That was nice of him. Let's back up. All about stamina management, yo. Alright, now I haven't really seen this thing before. I noticed there was a guy that was kind of hanging out in here. I didn't know you could go in. I'm not really sure what we're finding in here, so this is actually completely blind. But it would appear there's something to find in here. Maybe another way in? I don't really know. So there is a Bastille soldier hanging out in here as well. Oh, these guys are the exploding skeletons. I remember them. We haven't come up against them normally. They have this bad habit of jumping on the ground and then blowing themselves up like a complete dickhead. If we can kill them before they do it, then that's ideal. Flame butterfly. Don't give up, skeleton. Okay. I feel like this should be... there should be like an illusory room in here, but maybe not. So we're going to clear out these areas just to see if there's anything. The only thing left is the door. That obviously it's locked. So not much going there. Interesting. So not much to see in here really, other than the one door and the locked door, but it may be worthwhile to keep that in mind, just in case we end up somewhere where it's more helpful to do so. We will get a human effigy off the dog, which is ironic and also very reminiscent of getting human effigies off rats in the sewers of the White Town and so on and so forth, and whatever the other place was called, I can't remember, but it wasn't fun. The Depths or whatever I think was what it was called, or something like that. So this guy does have a barrel. I'm going to see if I can get him to avoid it. Alright. So there's another method, and it goes like this. That's about right. Now I just need to shoot a fire arrow at it if I can find the equipment. All right. There it is. Okay, so now you know what it looks like. We'll unequip these, of course, because we don't need them, and they're just taking up equipment load. But now this will be forever lit. That wall will be forever broken. And you can always come in here and say hello to this fellow, who is the blacksmith in question. There are several titanite shards and such in chests around here. I think if you fight him, you might be able to get 5 titanite shards. It's pretty good. I think if you fight him, you can actually get the chest that he's holding there. But I don't really know what's in it or if it's even worth the battle. Iron arrow. So let's talk with him.
Shit.
Shape up, shape up.
Flag. Io. Flag.
Okay, so I don't know how to unlock him as a blacksmith. This is locked from both sides, so you cannot get in or out. The only way to get into him, I believe, was to open up this area here. We are going to go back to Majula. We've seen the beginning of the Bastille. I was hoping to get a little further into it, but obviously, even the best laid plans sometimes don't work out for the best. We died once when I didn't expect to. We found an area that I didn't expect to find, and we're closing in on the 20-minute mark here. So I usually like to keep that as the best time to break it off, because if I continue, honestly, it could be another 20 minutes before I finish the area, and probably not worth it. But what we can do to finish up here, we can just head back to Majula.
Here, to see light, however.
And upgrade the Estus Flash Shard. And we left a lot of our souls in our Bloodstain back in the Bastille, so we'll try to get those back next episode. But there might be a way to level up now. not quite enough. Let's swing over to the blacksmith and see if we can use any of those shards to our advantage. Alright, I did not mean to do that. It's going a little too quick there. Alright, so can't get a bastard sword from here, so now I know at least that I did not get it here. Let's try to reinforce. Alright. Alright, so we'll make it a +5. It's at least a significant increase in the quality. And is there anything we can repair? Nothing.
I'll be around.
So we have a slightly better weapon now. Is it really the item I want to upgrade? Not particularly. As I said, the Bastard Sword is more to my liking, but this isn't a horrible item, and I think we'll keep with it for a little bit. We now have 6 Estus Flasks, and next time we'll head back to the Bastille. Take it easy.